what are the things that makes you say no thanks to an investment, and what are your possible risk parameters? For example, if a company comes to you and pitches you an investment to start, or like a business to start, uh, do you give them a specific amount for every company, or is it like it depends on the person?
So the first is that when the way we evaluate, let's say someone comes, usually they would come with a business proposal. It can be different format. It can be just a chatting around and then that person explain the business. It can be in form of like they create what we call a pitch deck. So pitch deck is like a presentation that usually has a problem statement, solution, product, traction, profile, etc. It could be even a full blown. There's already operations ready. You can even visit the stores that they have. So it can be a different level. But it boils down to the questions that we have to answer as a investment professional. First is that, do we want this investment? After we assess the founders, the business proposal, the tractions and all. Second is, what is the price, right? Like whether or not the value that the founders is proposing makes sense to us. So let's say you think it's a good founder. It's a good business, but it's so expensive. So let's say a simple method. Let's say you're selling this aqua. You say that I'm selling this for $1, and for a month I sell 100 of this. So it makes $100 revenue per month, and 1 year is 1,200, right? 1,200. You make a $1,200 revenue for a company, and you say that you are valuing this company for 1 million. It doesn't make sense, right? It's like you have to operate for 20 years to generate that level of valuation. So that doesn't make sense. So after thinking about like, if this is a company that you want to invest, you look at the price, because you want to make sure that it can grow to a certain size and you can make a return out of it. Yeah.
Okay.
East Ventures have helped startups like Foray and Warung Pintar from internal insights rather than just external pitches. Can you share how the idea of Foray emerged, and what are the process looked like turning it from an internal seed into a big company that has went to IPO, existing stage?
The storyline for Foray is that we believe Indonesia should have their own coffee chain, right? Like we should have, because we are fourth largest coffee exporter in the world, actually, after Brazil. Brazil was the second one, and then Vietnam, and then us. So technically, why is there no coffee product here? But if you look at like people, let's say students studying abroad, and there's like they talk a lot about, oh, Melbourne coffee is so good, or like, oh, whatever coffee is so good, so good. So it's like, can we make it? The answer is yes. Like I think that time there's already a lot of like coffee chains, but there is no strong coffee chain establishment. Coffee chain establishment is like let's say you talk about Starbucks. Yes, it has about 600 stores in Indonesia alone, right? Meaning that there's a clear SOP, there's a way, there's already business model to replicate it, so you can have a strong enterprise. So a coffee shop is good. Let's say there's a lot of coffee shop that has like 1 shop, 3 shop, 5 shop, but it's not a large enterprise. There's a big enterprise that can do it. We need to have a local one that could do it as well. So we think about Foray Coffee. So the starting is that we work together with another East Ventures portfolio East Ventures portfolio as well, called Otten Coffee. So Otten sell coffee beans, Otten sell coffee machines, and etc. So it's like, oh, why not we join force and create that? So that was the beginning of it. But not always easy. I mean, business is very difficult, right? You thought it's easy to operate 1 store. It's not. It's not easy to operate 10. So at the point before COVID, we have about 120 stores, and many of them are not profitable, right? So what do you do, right? Not profitable stores mean that if you operate, you pay so that it operates. Doesn't make sense. What you want is that it operates and give you profit, right? So you have to cut. I think we have to cut a lot of stores during the pandemic. And then after the pandemic slows down, we have a smaller level, but we make sure that these stores are generating profit. So after consumer comeback 2022, then we start expanding. We changed the business model. It was focused on a lot of like delivery into more dine-in, because all people like in Indo, coffee shop is for like nongkrong. Like
Yeah.
you want to come, you want to chat with your friends, you do your assignments there, like you stay for a very long time. So it needs to be designed in a way where it is comfortable for people to nongkrong, right? So then it changed the model to be that. And then in some ways we were thinking about like, the startup story was really bad, right? In 2024 especially. Then we think of like, we need to do something because otherwise people will type Indonesia, tech, all bad news. So we think we need to do something. So that's how the idea of like Fore is ready. Then we decided that they should go for IPO.
So Fore right now is pretty successful. Yeah.
Yes. So please consume Fore coffee.
I bought a lot. On
Oh
Fore.
yeah.
I saw it in Bali too. It opened up in Bali, right?
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
opened up in many cities.
As many cities. It has about 200, almost 200 stores. Yeah. Yeah. They have 9 in Bali.
Yeah. I've been
They
to
have a
one.
lot.
Yeah.
So what investments not working out? How often do they happen, and how do you as a venture capitalist handle them?
Very good question. I think this is a very high risk investment. So some companies, not all companies that is investors are gonna make it, and it's fine. The important thing of this is that you find some companies, a number of companies that can make it, and then some would fail. It's okay, and the idea is that it's better to fail fast rather than fail slow, because fail slow is that you have to spend time, you have to really think about like how whatever. So some founders are quite decisive. They say that this is not gonna work, they're gonna like either pivot or they're gonna close, and then maybe they start a new one,
Just like cut their losses.
cut losses.
Early.
Yeah.
But before you invest in a startup, so you were discussing about how venture capitalists invest in many startups, but expect at least one of them very, very successful, right?
Some of them
Some of them.
one not
okay.
enough.
sorry. Some of them very successful. But before that, before you invest, you have to do the due diligence first, right? Which is costly, isn't it?
Depends. I think due diligence when due diligence is performed, so let's say if you are investing 100K, but the due diligence cost is 50K. Do you do it or you don't do it?
It's very costly.
Yeah, of course you don't do it, right? Like it doesn't make sense that if you invest 100, then half is spent on due diligence. Might as well. Maybe it's not a good investment if you need to spend too much. But if you are investing 1 million, and then the cost is 50K, do you do it or you don't do it?
For sure.
You gotta do it, right? So it's a calibration also of like the cost and also the time, right? How long does it take to perform it? If you think it's important to perform it will take long, it will take costly, maybe you shouldn't do the deal. Yeah.
So you have to consider all aspects.
All aspects,
before even
yes.
considering them.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so before we wrap up, for you, is venture capital something you can study, or is it more towards learning by doing?
You can definitely study some part of it. I think in US it's already very mature industries. I think formulas, data are already there. In Indonesia, it is quite young but mature also already. I think investors started investing. Our firm operates since 2009, so 16 years, 20 years. So it's an industry already. So I think today, I don't know, like, I mean, when I look at the team in other VC, there's a lot of like, when I ask them, they say, oh, in my university, the friends, I was like, where do you want to go when you graduate? Oh, I want to work at VC, right? In my time, like, what is VC? Like, nobody knew about it. People want to work at the big four. So it's a maturing industry. So there are things that you can study. There are more and more case studies actually available. So you can definitely, just as like other industries, you can learn some part of it in theory, but you will learn about it, a lot about it
During the process.
during the process. Yeah.
Okay, so basically you still have to have knowledge about it before you fully jump into it.
Yes. That's the benefit of it. Is a more mature industry now. More information. I think if you Google, it's like there's much more information now about Indonesia or Southeast Asia venture capital compared to 5-6 years ago. Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so lastly, what advice would you give to aspiring founders who might not have network like how you first jump into the venture capital world?
slowly build the network. I think network doesn't have to be, you don't think about network of like, oh, high level ranks of people in companies. It could be in your circle. So people in your university classes. Yeah, I think the key is to be curious, right? As a person, you try to question. I mean, rather than receiving things as it is, question things, right? And then ask different people. Try to think about like what makes a person interesting. You think about it and network with more people within your university, your class, university, other universities. Be active. I mean, as students, you could join competitions. I mean, I benefit a lot from the debatings because there's BINUS, there's UI, there's ITB, there's like, we met like many university friends through business competition. We also meet different type of friends among that. Who knows? They can be helpful to you. Look at your parents, maybe. Friends of your parents, you might look like, oh, this auntie, this uncle, of like what, but who knows? Down the road, right? Like, I mean, what happened today is that people would text me like, hey, my kid is about to graduate. Can I put him or her to your internship program and whatnot? So you don't know, right?
Yeah,
so be curious, I think, and just go and network from for different things, different people from different sources. So think about like expanding the circles.
And I got one more question from my friend Yamani. He said he had a friend, let's call him Mark. He has been running a small business, but growing restaurant business that focuses on healthy, customizable rice bowls in Bali. Just got a friend. He got good traction with delivery platforms and decent monthly revenues. And now he's thinking about scaling, opening 2 more branches and developing his own app. But he doesn't really have any connections in the VC world. What would be your advice to someone like Mark, Yamani's friend, who's trying to get noticed by a venture capital like East Ventures, and would make his pitch or business model stand out? Like, what would make his pitch and business model stand out? So that.
I think with there's pitch and there's pitch, there's the business, and there is how to get the attention, right? So with the business, I think what has always been helpful is you try to find people who run similar business, right? Restaurants business, let's say. And then you might think your number is not good, or you might think your number is good, but because that's your understanding. But maybe you talk to other people, right? Then you know, oh, why is this person has higher revenue? Why? Right? Or what strategy worked for them? Or apparently you have higher revenue than the other. Why? Right? Like, so you started to see like, oh, then you know, oh, maybe there's a certain strategy that works for you that maybe you can share with others, or maybe you can learn others, and then you can multiply your business. So from how you can make your business better is to learn. It can be learning through people with the same background, maybe people from different background, if there's a clear problem statement or challenges that they have. So maybe some of the challenges that, do I need to get halal certifications to increase my revenue, or like whatever. So it could be one. How to get noticed? Network will help. The other way is that usually many venture capital have websites, and then you can send the pitch to the apply, but it can arrive as a cold email. So what has always been helpful is to, if you know someone who knows the venture capital, maybe can use that, right? Ask whether or not he thinks it is good to refer. And then maybe this person would be able to say that, maybe they will give feedback, whether there is a fit, whereas there's not fit. If there isn't, there will definitely be connecting them, and it's actually more, we call it like a warm leads. Like, we know someone who refers, so that's gonna be better. Yeah.
Okay.
And that wraps up today's episode. A huge thanks to Miss Melissa Irene for
you.
not only giving her experience, but also some insights on bringing the real world perspective. Truly valuable stuff for anyone navigating in the world of startups. And yeah.
Thanks for tuning in. We hope you found this as insightful as we did. This is Michelle, Kayla,
This is Adi.
and Jesse as our cameraman. And we hope to bring you always conversations to fuel your startup journey. Until next time, bye.
Bye.